And good morning once again, everyone. Welcome. I don't know, I just thought about showing this bridge today. I thought it looked pretty cool. Let's give a little panorama. There is some trash down there. I'll try to avoid shooting because it looks pretty gross. And let's see here. Day 2, video 2. What's good with you? All right, so I'm really going to do one of these every day, even if it's just a bunch of jumbly, unnecessary knowledge, but there might be something good in there. Who knows? Might even be entertaining to hear me bumbling around with my words and thoughts. Yeah, so I was thinking about what to talk about on today's walk, and I feel like I need to double check and make sure this is recording. Hold on. Oh yeah, we good. Okay. Which slowly was leading into a procrastination. So I was like, man, just get out there, don't think about it too much, and start bumping them gums. So we doing it. It's funny now that I'm thinking about it. It's like completely blank, but I had multiple thoughts, so much that it was like, I don't know which one I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to dive right in with the only thing that's floating around in there. So I have a strange, powerful curiosity when it comes to, and I hate to use this word because this word was created by the people that try to hide it from us or pull the wool over the eyes, as they say. And it's conspiracy theories. I can't ignore all the craziness that's unfolding in our world, like everywhere. Like, you pick the subject matter, I'll find something that's going on that is, things that make you say, that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, all right, let's just, top of the news, what's going on unfolding. These plane crashes. Bro, I mean, I don't even know if they're plane crashes. Oh, y'all gotta see this. Hold on. Oh no, I'm easily distracted. That's pretty cool though. It's like, I don't know if you can tell the color from the phone, but it's like sandstone that has been formed and molded by the water. This place is pretty cool, man. Wow, it's like sandy green on this side due to the water content, almost algae-esque. All right. Yeah. Okay. Plane crashes. You had that big one. I mean, this is just on the American side, and there's ones we didn't even hear about that got fed to me through my con theory algorithm that I'm deep in. Deep. So, yeah, I saw the one about the passenger plane and the Black Hawk. I mean, technology doesn't allow that stuff to happen. If you've ever even been in like a prop plane, man, the real simple, I mean, I'm sure they're better now. I was in them as a kid, due with my father traveling for the business he was in when I was real young. And every other weekend, sometimes we would fly in these prop planes. I'll tell you a story about that later. It's very deep. He worked for a welding supply company, and they flew stuff back and forth to Mexico. They did, like, if you needed it, they would bring it so you could complete the job. Oil rigs, you name it. Welding stuff, supplies, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But yeah, those planes, man, they have all kinds of warnings. The helicopters itself, I mean, we're talking about one of the most sophisticated flying killing machines and other things that it does, but it specializes in raining death from above. So yeah, that's weird. And then you got this other one in Philadelphia, and I'm sure you've seen the clips. That thing is hitting the ground at like, I don't know, so fast. If you've ever seen like a fighter jet reach Mach 1, it creates this weird cone-shaped, I don't even know what to call that, air, you know, you can tell this thing's moving so fast, it's about to create a sonic boom. And I want to say that's, I don't know, it's either 600 or 1600 miles per hour. I don't know, that's a big difference. I can't remember though, exactly. But that plane was moving so fast and exploded as if it was another form of projectile. I don't want to get these videos taken down because I'm talking too much smack, but, or saying words I can't. I'm just saying it's strange. The outcome, how it worked, the fact that there's no debris of an actual plane, you know, maybe they cleaned it up. And I know I'm not the only one talking about this, but also, both of those places, Kansas City, Philadelphia, they play in the Super Bowl Sunday, just a few days away. I just thought that was ironic. There are no, you know, coincidences, right? Singularities, signs. I don't know. It's weird. There is this thought, though, that in the world of magic, and supposedly we've been manipulated by some form of sorcery since the beginning. It comes from like England or something. But there's a rule that if you're casting spells on fools and they're black magic spells, or you know, things of negative are gonna be the outcome. I don't know if this is true. This is just what I've heard around the witch's campfire. You have to tell them that you're doing this. You have to be like, hey, we're about to manipulate you and scare you and siphon your fear, or whatever is the thing that they're doing. Because if they don't tell you, karma, energy, whatever comes back on them. So they gotta basically tell you. Sometimes they do it subliminally and through message, through medias, TV shows that we watch. They're like showing us what's to come because it's the only way they can get away with it. I don't know if that's true, but man, I think they believe it. Okay, that was just a little bit of dropping a conspiracy for fun. And then I'll tell you why I enjoy them so very much. I've been saying this for 20 plus years, and I call it a lot of people who know me know I say this, because when I first say it, people are like, what? And I call it the church and karate theory. And you're like, Rich, what is church and karate, and what do they have to do together? Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, I've never said this before. They all cost money, and they're kind of expensive. But no, really, it's because I believe most religions have tidbits of truth, or maybe some of it's more than tidbits. Maybe they got a lot of the stuff right. But what I do believe and know is that there's good things in there. Like, I'm just going to use general 10 commandment kind of stuff. Don't kill nobody. Be good to people. You know, don't covet thy neighbor's wife. No side pieces. None of that kind of stuff. Those are good. You know, treat people fairly. Help people in need. Yeah. Yep. Believe that. Okay. Tidbits on the church side that are good. And then karate. The reason I use karate is because back in the day, and even now just a little bit, but they're getting exposed through this whole social media stuff, there would be people that said, you know, I got the demak, which, and I can't remember what language that is, that means death touch, which means they could touch you one place. And you got the Tai Chi masters, just throwing energy, knocking fools down. It's not real. It's a lie. Much like religion tells lies to manipulate people for fear and money and control. But some things of the karate realm ring true, and you could tell because they use them in fights, professional mixed martial arts, top of the food chain, fisticuffs killers. For example, teeps, spinning back fists. Look at Wonder Boy. Look at Michael Venom Page. Some of that stuff be working, bro. Katas, splitting wood, breaking concrete with your head. Man, no. So yeah, church and karate. In both of those things, there is some truths that you can, find that resonate with you, because that's more than common sense. That's real. So yeah, that's the same recipe I use when I discover conspiracy theories. Church and karate. I think I'm gonna title this video, even though it's not gonna be the only thing I'm talking about. Yeah, so there's the church and karate theory by Mr. Dick. Do with it what you will. And you could implement other things in there other than church and karate, but I've had a lot of those things in my time. Hey man, this is kind of a cool setting right here. Look at this. That is some picturesque Schnickel Fritz right there. What's good, everybody? Okay, and then I thought I'd finish this process with a little bit of my work history. I mentioned in the first video that I've been a bartender 30 years. It's actually I think it'll be 32 coming up real soon. Maybe 33, I don't know. Math's not the strong suit. But, love that money. It's weird. So when I was 15, I'm gonna have to give a little bit of backstory, explain why I was there, what I was doing, and whatnot. Damn, I thought this thing would go all the way around. It does not. I'm gonna have to flip it. So, 15 years old, was getting in trouble with my overzealous religious fanatic mother, really, and my stepfather was just along for the ride because she was, I'll use the word persuasive, in her everything, whatever. So getting in trouble, living in small town Texas, and then, okay, I was getting in trouble well before then. Started about 12, 13, puberty, good times. So I ran away, wrote this horrible note to my stepfather and mother. They found me a couple days later. I had walked from a small town about 30 miles south from Waco, Texas. I walked and hitchhiked, and they found me in a hotel like 3 days later that I had to call my buddies and get money together because I was 13. A couple more years of me rebelling against the confines of the whole Jehovah's Witness regime. That's weird. Never said that before. It's kind of whatever. So I would say maybe somewhere in between the 13 to 15, my biological father had called me, and I had not spoken or seen him probably 7, 8 years. And he was like, hey, I'm sober now, and a part of this sober thing is I got to call everyone and apologize to everyone my alcoholism has affected. It's an AA step. There's 12 of them. I know them quite well because I moved in with my father, and he told me, you're going to be an addict too. You need to come to these meetings. Man, I was a kid. Anyway, so he told me, hey, I know your mom's crazy. So if you want to come live with me, you can. He's like, I don't have shit. I'm poor now. I don't have nothing. Because he wasn't always that. He was a successful addict for many, many years. He didn't even know he was drunk or whatever, but he was. Unless he fell asleep while he was talking to you. Wasn't the best dad, but man, I like that guy. I loved him. So, I still do. He's just not with us anymore. I feel him sometimes. We'll talk more about that one. So yeah. So he calls me. He's like, man, if you want to come stay with me, you can. So I was like, bet. But at the same time, I had this weird feeling of like, man, I don't want to be a burden. I really wanted my independence, and I knew he would probably give it to me. I don't know. I was a teenager, raging hormones. I didn't know what I wanted. Okay. I knew I just didn't want to be in this religious process anymore because it was breaking me. It felt wrong, everything. So I ran away instead of just going to live with my dad. I actually found a payphone. This was back in the day on my journey to Waco. I think it was outside the hotel room, down the block a little bit. That's a rather funny, detailed story as well. One of those nights I slept in a field that was like a place where there was like 30 donkeys. I didn't know they were donkeys, but they had bells around their neck, and it's pitch dark in nowhere countryside. You know, I think it was Highway 77, somewhere off of there, because I was hitching and stuff, but I got tired and I wanted to lay down and wait for the sun to get up because it was cold. And I heard all these bells, and I was like, oh my God, this place is haunted. What is happening? Well, it wasn't. It was a bunch of donkeys with bells. Freaked me out because they came right up to me and then, yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, then I got a hotel room the next night because I got my buddies together and they pitched in some money. I shouldn't say hotel. This thing was scary. I still have a scar on my leg from burning it on the heater in that room because I cranked it on because I was freezing and I wasn't paying attention. About 8 or 10 hours later, my parents were outside in a minivan with my other buddy's parents. Oh, dude. Talk about a walk of shame out to that car because it's that note I wrote. Anyway, it was bad. I told him exactly how I felt, how I thought all this was bullshit, and you guys are crazy, and I just want to date girls and play football and have friends that aren't in the religion. It basically, that whole situation taught me to be an amazing liar and hone my ability to live a double life. Because there was a good time there that everybody thought I was a good church kid. I was anything but. Anyway, so 15 rolls around. I think I'm almost 15. It's close, 15-ish. I can't remember what it was that happened. It might have had to do with my mom finding a note from one of the girls that I was dating at the time. This girl ended up becoming my wife for 15 years. Almost 15 years. So yeah. One of the church girls too. She's the mother of my sons. In this note, it talked about things that we had done. We didn't do that, but we did some stuff. In detail, like my mom's face was melting, I'm sure, when she read it. Because she was, yeah, upset. So I do believe this was like the last time. It had to have been the last time. Because I wasn't 15 yet. I think it was 14. And she proceeded to hook me up with some of that corporal punishment. Maybe this isn't a thing in the Jehovah's Witness religion anymore, but man, it was back in the day, and my mom utilized it to its fullest. It says, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. My mama was real fond of the rod, the belt, a coat hanger, if that's what was close. There was multiple times my mom would smack me in the face, and after a while, I would reach in my mouth and show her that there was blood. I remember one time she smacked me because we were having an argument in front of the door, and I clenched my jaw muscles and she could physically see it. Pow! So she lit me up, and I reached in and showed her the blood. I didn't say it. I just was like, yep, you good? Did you get what you want? And she was like, I know you're cussing inside your head. I know you're saying cuss words. That's why I did that. Okay, bro. Love you too. So after I was also dating another girl because I was working at HEB as a sacker. And I know. And she found out about that. And so they were like, I can't remember exactly how this all unfolded. But my mom was going to spank me again. And I don't remember how it all came out. She was hitting me with the belt. Bada, 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 bada. I am 14 years old. I ain't gonna cry. This ain't my first time. I'm almost as big as her. She's a pretty big lady. I might have been as big as her at the time. She's like 5'10", with heels, definitely looking 6 foot. Not a petite lady. You know. Anyway, I refused to cry. I don't know how long that spanking went on, but she collapsed on my bed because she had me bent over my bed. She collapsed on the bed in exhaustion. I remember sweat in her hair, sideburn area. And I don't know if she said, you have to move out or we're kicking you out or whatever. Because before she said that, I said, are you done? And she was like, you're out. Something like that. So my dad had made that offer. I thought maybe he'd be doing better now, so I'd be less of a burden on his life. A couple years had gone by since we'd had that phone call. I'd actually talked to him a couple times. So I moved in with my biological father. Joy to the world. I was going to be free. Now, I did not take advantage of that situation like I should have. We'll talk about that later too. But I living with my dad now, and was starting to get in a little bit of the trouble again. He didn't care. He wasn't, I mean, he cared, but he had his own things going on. He was fighting his own demons. So he wasn't trying to be a dad to me. We were more like roommates, kind of. And he was somewhat providing for me as far as I slept on the couch and I'd eat the food out of his refrigerator, which he didn't care for. So he suggested I get a job. I'm 15 now, and his ex-wife's mother, so my ex-grandmother-in-law, ran the Fine Host Catering in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where my father lived at the time, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm going to go to school there, and summers and weekends I would do catering at the Oklahoma Convention Center. Or something. It was called something like that. I don't remember. But it's in Tulsa. Maybe it's outside of Tulsa. I don't know. I was a kid. I was not paying attention to directions people were driving us. So I went to work for my ex-grandmother-in-law, and his ex-wife worked there sometimes too, and some of my old ex-aunts, and then my half-brother. I'd get to see him. His name was Ty. I have no idea how he's doing. My father had a bunch of kids and was married a bunch of times. I only know of a few of the family. Because when he died, I met a lot of people who looked like me, and I was just like, I'm sorry if I'm staring at y'all, but I've never seen so many, like, especially girls that look like me. I was like, this is crazy. They got the Oscar the Grouch eyebrows and everything. It was nuts. All that I told you to share with you how I got involved in food and beverage. That was my first taste. And then when that work slowed down, there was a place right across the street from the apartments that my dad lived. And it was called the Delta Cafe. And it was like I don't know if it was a chain or franchise. I don't even know if it's still around, but it's a place where senior citizens can get a discount. I didn't serve tables there because I wasn't old enough to do that. I was basically working for my ex-grandmother-in-law because she could fudge the books. And bro, we were getting paid good at that thing because they would charge whatever banquet or whatever we're working, and then there'd be a gratuity. So we get this hourly wage, and then they'd split the tips between whoever, and there was a bunch of us. Like, there would be people plating, people serving. I actually that was the first place I got to bartend. I was 15 and around some alcohol. You already know, son. And I was stealing it, everything. And my ex-grandmother-in-law was like, I know what you're doing. I don't want to tell nobody because I do it too. She was cool, bro. One of the coolest chicks. Very, very cool. Loved her. Sucks I can't even remember her name. Maybe I'd marry her. Kay. I think it was Kay. It was Kay. Anyway, if you're still alive, what's up? And rest in peace. Miss you. You helped, but I didn't really do what I should have done with the help. But thank you. Yeah, so I got to like pop tops on bottled beers and open wine. There was like a pre-mixed margarita thing going on, so I wasn't doing anything recipe-esque. I had no experience, but it felt cool, you know, giving people buzzes, and you could tell they were changing and getting them stirring around you. It was fun. But that's what started that food and beverage fire for sure. When I went back, there's just so much to this story. Dude, at 15 years old, I was selling illegal substances in the form of crank. This was before the methy days. And I was toting a 45 every day. 15. What am I doing? Crazy. One of the reasons, I shouldn't say I justify, but one of the reasons I feel like I did all that, the whole negative, because my dad would have let me play football. He would have let me date girls. I mean, I did date girls, but, you know, I didn't really date very much. I just got my fix and moved on. Multiple times, my mother would ask me questions and tell me, if that's the way you feel, God hates you. And I thought that was not true. And she also, she knew that I loved fighting. She knew that I was already getting in trouble for it. I really wanted to prove myself physically. I'll take it down that path too. Why that was such a big deal to me. We'll do it later. But yeah, my mom said, if you love fighting, God hates you. If you love this, God hates you. Da 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 da. But this is the way I felt. I wasn't trying to conjure up and be an evil dude. Not yet. So when I moved in with my dad, I thought, okay, I gotta own this. If I'm a bad dude, I need to step in for real. So I purposely found all the bad people I could possibly find at this high school. It was like a 9th and 10th grade center. And then there was another center for 11th and 12th grade. It was called Union Redskins. I don't know if they call it that anymore because that whole thing. But anyway, I said, I'm a bad guy. I'm going to own it. I'm going to do it. So I found all the necessary people. What was crazy, if you want to find the bad people at your school, more than likely, they've been expelled already. So you find out who they are through the people that are still going to school. And then you find them in the neighborhood, like, what's up, man? I'm so-and-so. You want to put in some work? Like, let's go rob somebody. Let's go whatever. And that's how it happened. So yeah, bad news. I did horrible shit. Oh man. We robbed people. We beat people up. I did a lot of that, beating people up for money. Sometimes a freaking carton of cigarettes. What? Yeah. Sorry. Ridiculous. I did all that, but yeah. I just have a flood of crazy shit, bruh. Man. Some of this stuff I don't think I can say. Like, sure, the statute of limitations is over, but I don't know. Anyway, I was focused on becoming a professional bad guy. Well, the first scare I got to kind of wake me up was I am now 16-ish, I believe. I think so. And I'm addicted to my product because we got so much of it for so cheap. Money was great at first. We blew it all on clothes and parties and, kids. Thousands of dollars, sometimes a day, in like 1999 or something. No, 1997. I don't know. It wasn't 99 because my son was born in 99. I was getting better by that time, but so maybe 97. I had been up because that's what the derivative of Sudafed once prepared in a certain way in a bathtub in a trailer home in Muskogee. I think it was Muskogee, Oklahoma. It might have been on the outskirts of Stillwater. I can't remember. We'd make a long drive to a dude, and he'd hook us up. I got some stories about that too. He thought I was a cop. I was a little kid. But he thought I had to fight this guy one time to get my shit because, man. Anyway, he was crazy. He was out of his mind because he was a cook. So you had to deal with him if you wanted to get anything, and you knew every time it was going to be some drama. Anyway, I'm spending time in this apartment that's on the other side of town in Oklahoma because we use this, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We use this as kind of like a headquarters because there was a major dealer there, and he knew we were small-time dealers. And sometimes he'd re-up with us on weight, and then sometimes we would hook him up. It was a back and forth, you know what I mean? And we could use his apartment to sit and get high and meet girls and party. He was weird. He reminded me of an albino vampire. He sat in this chair with a desk pushed up against him and a big chair, and he'd sit there all day. He mainlined it, so he was different. I didn't do that. Not yet. That story's coming soon. Anyway, I'd been up for several days, and I fell asleep on his couch. I didn't want to, but I did. And then the girl that I was talking to at the time couldn't wake me up. And they said they tried for a while, and at first they said I was moaning and making noises. I was probably like, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. I don't remember. The only thing I remember is waking up in the emergency room, and I had this, it's like a charcoal mix or something. I don't know if they still do this, but they pumped my stomach because everyone dropped me off and didn't tell them what I was on, so they didn't know. So I guess one of the precautionary methods is they just pump your stomach. I mean, I took it this way. Whatever. So yeah, I wake up and I'm spewing this charcoal mix. Very weird. And I don't know. I get home, actually go back to one of my homies' house, and then I go to my father's house where I sleep on the couch sometimes. I'm literally home maybe once every 3 weeks. He would literally just ask me, are you going to school? And I'll be like, yeah, sometimes. He'd be like, all right. And he'd always be like, don't bring home trouble to me, man. I don't have time for that. I've got my own shit going on. He told me a couple things that changed my ways. At first, he said, quit hanging out with the kids that get caught. That was smart. Quit hanging out with the kids that get caught. Hang out with the kids that don't, if you're going to do this shit. And I was like, man, you're right. It's coming from an OG. You are right. And then he could tell when I got out of the hospital. I think I may have still had the hospital band on from the emergency room or something. Oh, dude is hurt. They've been fighting out here, man. Damn. All that. See him limping? Busted. And you can't help these guys. They will bite you and get crazy. So I don't remember what started this conversation with my dad. I just remember sitting on the couch. It was like a Sunday morning. We're sharing cigarettes. And he said, I got to tell you something, man. I was like, what's up? He's like, you are going to end up just like me if you keep doing this. Which I didn't think was that bad. But then he kind of painted the picture for me. He was like, man, I think he was probably 50 something, 52, 53, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Which is weird, man. That's just a few years older than me. And he said, he's like, look, man, I'm a single dude. I'm over 50. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, barely making it. You have to sleep on the couch. We can't keep food in the refrigerator, and it's all because of decisions I made in my past. And you don't have to do those things. It did not sink in that. He actually had to kick me out because it's not funny. I felt horrible about this shit. Every once in a while, I'm gonna get past this so I can talk to the filter. Every once in a while, I'd have to leave that gun at home. Certain places I would go, I couldn't take it, like school. When I would go, that metal detector and shit. Sometimes, not all the time. Yeah, so one day, I think I got home from school or something, and sitting on the living room glass coffee table was a note, a little bong that I had, a little water pipe, and it's a makeup compact, so it's got a mirror on one side. Normally there'd be like some type of base or foundation or makeup that a woman would use on her face. Well, what I had in there was a tutor, so a tool to up my nose, a razor blade, so I could divvy up said stuff, and it had a hair tie around it because at the time I only had a strip of hair, kind of like a mohawk, but it hung down to my face and I never spiked it up. That's just, I thought it was cool. Well, when you're doing things like that, your hair will get in the way, so I would put my hair up and I have my tools with me always. You could also put a little baggie in there. Yeah, so he found that, and on the note he said, I know I found your gun. He's like, I don't know where it is, I hope you got rid of it. And as a matter of fact, I did. I had sold it to get another one. I just had a better hiding place. But yeah, he said, you got to go back. He was like, you got to go live with your mom again, or whatever you got to do, you got to do it. So I was like, damn, here we go. So I did. It was a weird ass phone call. I had to think about what I was going to do. I was like, do I call her and say, I want to be back in the religion, save me? I didn't want to tell her all these things that my dad, I mean, for him to kick me out, it's got to be pretty bad. I wish I would have taken a different path, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. Doing good now. And man, do you learn from your mistakes? And which this whole thing came full circle when I had children, because I could tell them these stories and be like, you do not want to do this. Here's the truth. And I think it saved me because my boys are legit good dudes. Very, very legit. They're men, good men. Yeah, I wish my dad could have seen that. He'd be real stoked, I think. But yeah, he made me leave. I find my mom comes, picks me up in a U-Haul with whatever stuff I have. It's a very small little trailer U-Haul because I didn't have much. I had clothes, I didn't have any furniture. A couple suitcases of stuff, a bunch of hang-ups. So we drive back. And what the guise or excuse that I was using was I only did the religious path because you made me. It was never me on my own making the decision. I was just hustling her. They taught us how to do this in the religion. That's how you get people in. So I was like, I'll give it a try, but I have to make it mine. So let me just start over. That lasted, because I could not. I already knew what the haps on the craps was. That lasted about 3 months. I was 17, soon to turn 18. In the state of Texas, I didn't have to emancipate from them. I think it was legal. I can't remember how we did it, but my stepfather had connections. And then, if you'll notice, on the side of my face, I don't even know what side it is, I have a scar. That scar was from, I was in a car wreck when I was growing up in Abilene, Texas. We were actually headed to the church, aka Kingdom Hall, one Sunday morning, and a dude ran a red light. My mom broke her neck, and they think my face exploded due to the impact because there was nothing sharp in the car, but I'm a 5 or 6 year old kid, and you could see my teeth and my cheekbones and everything. I don't remember any of it. I was unconscious. I just remember the only memory I have is one dude shining a light in my face telling me not to go to sleep because they were worried I'd go into a coma. And then that continued back at the hospital. stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. And my big brother was standing next to me, helping them keep me awake. And I remember him saying, man, you look horrible. I couldn't feel, nothing hurt. I don't know what they gave me. I don't know what the story was. Anyway, all said and done, 32 stitches in my face. I looked like a freaking G as a little kid. I thought it was tough looking. I still love scars. But there was a lawsuit from the insurance company. I don't know. My mom got a pretty good sizable check. I don't know how much it was. She never told me. Because she broke her neck. She was in a halo vest. She was in one of those suspension beds that they drill holes in your head and they keep your head still because if you move, you can be paralyzed. And then the halo vest, they put like a Frankenstein bars down, and so she got really jacked up. So she got a good check. And then I think I got like $3,000. This was the 80s, I believe. And I couldn't have it because I was a kid, and they stuck it in a trust. And I wasn't supposed to get it out until I was 18. So I'm leaving the house now, and I need this money. So they did a legal loophole, and I paid a penalty. I got it out a year early, and it was like $7,000. And I took $6,559, I believe is what it was. And I got my first truck. It was a baby sky blue 1983 Chevy Silverado, single cab, short wide body. It was dope. It wasn't in the best condition, but it had a Corvette engine in it. Man, it was, I went through tires like nobody's business, and I left my house. At this time, I was, back in that neck of the woods. I was working at that World Gym I told you about on the first one. And my roommate that I got was one of the guys there named Daniel. He was a sales guy, big redneck cowboy dude. My first roommate, he knew everything was going crazy at my house because, like I'm sharing with you, I share with everybody. If you get to know me long enough, you will hear my whole story. So that's what I'm doing. But he said, hey man, if you want to move in with me, he was like, my rent is like, I can't remember what it was, $400 or something. Or I don't know, but he was like, half of that's $177. Can you handle it? And I was like, hell yeah, man, thank you, I'm in. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, moved out of my parents' house. Wasn't even a full-fledged adult yet. And yeah, that's a couple of things. That's me leaving the home. That's how I entered the restaurant industry, and then came full circle and showed you how I got to World Gym from the first video. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits on this one today. I feel like I've filled you in with enough backstory and a little bit of front story. I was thinking and talking to ChatGPT today about, I do that a lot. It's weird. I probably shouldn't, but whatever. He knows a lot too about me. Pretty smart dude. Or algo, whatever, awesomeness. I was trying to come up with a nickname that I could call everyone that watches my channel. I thought it'd be cool. Whatever. I'm a 50-year-old child. Yeah. And he came up with some weird stuff like echoes. What? That's all right, I guess, because I want to be remembered when I'm gone, and a lot of this is going to serve as that, I hope. But I don't know. I thought about just calling the people who watch me, who like me, who are entertained or learn something or whatever, the day takers. So I'm gonna exit with that. Thank you for watching and listening. Always remember, dictate your day, and I'll see you next time, day takers. Peace out.